It is the Sunday Night League, and you know what that means. It is Formula X season number 9, round number 5 at Interlagos. This is our final round of the season 9. Wow, where has all the time gone? It is our last race as well of 2024 as we go into the December and Christmas break for racing. We've got a tight championship. It's a championship decider. It's McLaren versus Ferrari in a very familiar sounding championship fight. Let's have a look at the grid here at Interlagos in Brazil for the final round. And on pole position, it is Daz. He joined the Renault team last time out, and he has put it on pole. Soft tyres for him in qualifying. He used them brilliantly to get the pole position, and he's on soft, mediums and mediums for this race. He will start in that pole position. He's joined on the front row by one of the debutants of the season, Morcherry. He is in that Team Lotus car. He was on the soft tyres as well, and he has soft, mediums and mediums. He is currently 6th in the championship with 46 points. Daz, obviously having missed a lot of the season, is in 16th place with 5 points after his Watkins Glen round. In 3rd place, we have the Red Bull of the Punisher, one of his best qualifying positions ever in Formula X. He is currently in 13th in the championship on 23 points in his Red Bull. In 4th place, the second Renault on the grid, so 2 Renaults in the top 4. That is Aloe, currently 8th in the championship with 42 points. The Punisher has, tyres. The Punisher used softs, and he's got softs and mediums. The Renaults both have softs for the qualifying session and soft, mediums. Morcherry is also on soft, mediums for the race, if I had not said already. In 5th place, it is another debutant. It is Ben, another impressive season from him. 36 points in 10th place, having missed Watkins Glen. Unfortunately, he qualified on the medium tyres. He's our top medium runner in 5th, and he has all softs for this race. In 6th place is Bondimus Prime. He is currently in 14th place in the championship with 19 points. The Williams driver used medium tyres and has softs and hards for his car. In 7th place is Bunnies, the 2-time champion, is currently 5th in the championship with 65 points for that Lotus team. He qualified on hard tyres, and he's our top hard runner from qualifying. He has all mediums for the race this weekend. In 8th place, he's joined by his brother, the championship leader, Ajax. 101 points is his championship points total. He has got a 16-point lead over Gasman in the standings. Championship advantage is to the McLaren driver. He's won 2 races already this season. Will he win a third this evening? It is hards for qualifying and soft, medium and hards for the race. In 9th place is Matt Psycho. We saw him win at Yamagawa at round number 2. He is currently 7th in the championship with 44 points. He qualified on the hards, and he's got all softs for this race. And making the top 10, it is the defending champion Gasman. He qualified on hards. He is, as I say, 16 points behind Ajax in the championship with 85 points. He qualified on hard tyres, and he's got all softs for this race as well. In 11th place is the Mercedes of Jam. He qualified on the medium tyres. He has soft, medium and hards for the race. He is 12th in the championship with 26 points. In fact, the Mercedes had a front row at Watkins Glen. They now have a 6th row all to themselves because Bailey comes in for Yax. Yax, unfortunately, unable to race this evening. Yax is 4th in the championship with 71 points. Bailey making his season debut in the Mercedes, so obviously has no points. He had hard tyres for qualifying, and he's got medium hards as well for the race, so not looking too great for him this race. 13th place after a mistake in qualifying with Slenderfella in his Red Bull. He was qualifying on the medium tyres. He has softs and hards for the race, and he is currently in 9th place in the championship with 38 points. And finally on the grid this evening, after making a mistake as well and not completing his lap, is Ragemus Prime in the Williams. A brilliant season for him, though. He's third in the championship with 73 points. He qualified on the mediums, and he has softs and hards for the race. And the final two places on the grid are vacant because, unfortunately, Leonardo had problems with the weather in Greece in his Ferrari, so unable to attend, and Mr. Smith was unable to attend because his internet provider was having issues as well in America. So a very international field here at Interlagos. We have 14 drivers, though, on the grid for this Brazilian Samba at Interlagos. We will be going into 42 laps of this fantastic classic circuit. Who will win the championship? It's McLaren versus Ferrari. It looks like advantage for McLaren, though, in the team championships. They have an 18-point lead over Ferrari currently. They have 137 points, with Ferrari on 119, and Ferrari are only a one-car team this evening. Lotus have 111 points, and not far away from Ferrari, and two very strong drivers. Mercedes have 97 points. They're just 3 points ahead of Williams, who are fifth with 94. Then there's a little bit of a gap to Red Bull with 61, 2 points ahead of Tyrrell with 59, and finally Renault, the defending champions, Renault, down in 8th with 43 points. Thank you everyone that's watching so far. I'm sure you're ready for the action. So let's get it underway here at Interlagos. There are 5 lights waiting for us here at this beautiful circuit. Let's get the final round ready. We've got 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights, and it is a long hold again. Go! And there's a car going backwards, and there's a bit of a smash already in the midfield as Daz leads into turn 1. He's followed by the Punisher, and the Cherry Bomb manages to squeeze up the inside. The Punisher down to 3rd, and Aloy is there in 5th place. Aloy spins it as well. Oh my word. Let's have a look though at the start, because we have Bunnies here. What happened to him? It looks like a car was in front of him. So we saw a Lotus, and it looked like the Tyrrell and Matt Psycho having an incident. Let's see what happened here. And, whoa, the car in front didn't seem to move. So Matt Psycho and Bunny's having issues. Let's see what happened with Ben, because he was the car in front. On board with Ben, he's in reverse. Ben has put it into reverse gear before we start the race, and he'll press the accelerator. And he goes backwards into Bunnies and Matt Psycho. Now, it will be no surprise to you that this race was called off as a red flag incident. 3 cars were involved in it. So, let's move ourselves to the rolling start for this race. So, 3 cars involved in that incident. A red flag was called. It was seen late, though. We had to go a little bit later into the lap, but it was seen and called. So the red flag was called, and then we have a rolling start then here at Interlagos. Let's go to the front of the field as we are on board there with Jam, who is down in 11th place. So everybody rejoins the race in their original starting positions, but we have a rolling start with Daz leading Morcherry and the Punisher. The top 3, the lights start flashing, the countdown starts, and Daz leads them away here at Interlagos. He's immediately on the overtakers. Morcherry does not. The Punisher under attack from Aloy as they go into turn 1. Whoa, they go deep into the corner, and we can see a few drivers having a run through the Centre S. Jam on the back of Gazman, 11th. Bailey is 12th, Slenderfella 13th, and Ragemus 14th. But Daz leading them down the back straight towards turn number 4. Nicely done from Daz on the restart. As we have, Ben is up to 5th place. Bondibus out wide on turn 4. Jam and Gazman having a fight as well. The Ferrari in 9th still. As we go back to the front, into the infield. Daz leading with Morcherry 2nd. The Punisher defending hard though with Aloy behind him. On board with the Renault. Nothing doing yet behind. The two McLarens are 5th and 6th, looking good, but Ajax runs very, very wide. And Ben is on the attack. He's attacking Aloy. So Ben looking for a move past the Renault, as up ahead it looks like Morcherry has pressure from the Punisher. Morcherry going up the hill, but he's got a Red Bull all over the back of him. In fact, the Red Bull pulls out of the slipstream and tries to get the move done as they approach the centre Fs, and Punisher is ahead of Morcherry. Punisher up into 2nd place. Behind we can see Aloy having a look inside the two McLarens. Not quite for him. Ajax 6th. Matt Psycho up to 7th place, with Gasman up into 9th. So Gasman also up the field as Bondimus is in 9th, and Ragemus, impressive start for him, 10th place from 14th. Already climbing the field, Slenderfella in 11th, Jam in 12th with Bailey 13th, and Bunny's down in 14th place on his medium tyre. So Bunny's not having the start he would have wished to have at the restart. That's though leading in the Renault. And it's Morcherry. He's on the medium tyres, whilst Ben has the softs right behind him, with Aloy on softs as well. All the drivers behind Morcherry have soft tyres. They will be faster than him based on their attacking, as we can see Gasman is all over the back of Bondimus. So he is in between the two Williams drivers. Again, once more, those Williams are very close to each other at the start of the race. We've seen this all season. There's a little bit of a gap developing though. Slenderfella falling back slightly. Jam has got his teammate in his slipstream, as Bunny's also getting past Bailey. So Bunny's into 13th place into turn 1 on lap number 3, but it's the front of the field. Daz leading in the Renault from the Punisher in the Red Bull. The Punisher has set the fastest lap as well, an 18.2 for him, and he's purple after sector 1. So the Punisher having a great start to this race here in Brazil. Morcherry in 3rd with Ben 4th. Right behind him, we've seen some great battles here before in Formula X as Matt Psycho goes up the inside. Does he? No, he has to go on the outside now on Ajax on board with the Tyrrell driver. You can see Morcherry at the front of this pack in the red Lotus. Lotus currently 3rd in the championship, as Bondimus has all the attention of Gasman. The defending champion Gasman has to get ahead of Ajax, and Ajax is currently in 6th place. It is a tall ask for the Scot, but he could take the title again if he beats the Canadian significantly. So far he is behind his championship rival. We can see Ragemus going up the inside of Gasman. A nice move there by the Williams driver on board with him. Another Brazilian little touch on top of the helmet by Ragemus. He's up the inside of the Ferrari before they approach the Senna S, and it's a nice clean move from the Williams driver. So those two Williams once more in the Gulf livery, line astern. Locked and loaded, primed you might say for the team orders, as Bondimus yields for his teammate into turn 4, and the overtake being deployed by the driver, currently 3rd in the championship. But Bondimus is under attack from Gasman, and Gasman makes an opportunistic move into 9th place. Goes the Ferrari driver. Bondimus 10th then. Bunnies is up to 11th on his mediums, as we see Slenderfella, Bailey and Jam now at the back of the field. Jam we saw at Watkins Glen having problems with his eyes. Daz currently fastest on the circuit at 18.1, and he's got the Punisher just behind him. Ben is up into 3rd place, so he's got past Morcherry on this lap. Morcherry's mediums putting him under pressure, but the pressure is being applied by Ajax on Aloy. Will he make the move on the outside of turn 1 into the Senna S? No, Aloy nearly making a cheeky move up Morcherry, but nothing doing for Aloy. There's Ajax on the overtake now. He's got a Tyrrell all over the back of him. He'll have to defend, but he has to be careful because he's got a Lowy ahead as they go into turn 4. All of them at different lines, and Matt Psycho moves himself up into 6th as a Lowy moves himself up into 4th. And up ahead, Ben overtakes the Punisher. We've had an incredible amount of overtaking in a very short time. All sorts of positions changing. As we see Morcherry fighting hard. Ragemus is up to 7th. The Williams driver making a very big nuisance of himself. He goes up the inside. Very, very late. There's a yellow flag point being waved though because that's Daz pointing the wrong way. What happened to Daz? He was leading the race and he's just run wide. He runs wide and points the wrong way, puts it into reverse and has to recover, but he loses all those positions. He was in 1st, he's now down to 10th. In fact, it's now 11th as Bunnies overtakes him. So Ragemus really pushing hard, being aggressive in these opening laps. He's got the purple, but he's just been overtaken by Bondimus. Bondimus now having a go at the McLaren driver. So this is a Williams tag team. He has a little bit of a bump draft. All on the overtake. Very, very aggressive from the Williams pair. They're trying to get past this McLaren. As we go on board with Ragemus, taking a different line through the exit of the Senna S. He's on the outside of his teammate. Will they yield position once more? Not quite. The side-by-side is up ahead. We've got Gasman going up the inside of Morcherry. Let's go and see that. So Morcherry actually had been overtaken by Gasman. So Morcherry was able to have a run on the Ferrari going to turn 4. Matt Psycho having a run on a Lowy up ahead of us as well. Matt Psycho moves up into 3rd place. We'll go back and see that. So here's Matt Psycho on the inside of turn 3 and nicely done as well. So everybody, Ben's in the lead of this race. Obviously, because Daz crashed out of the lead. Ben now leading for McLaren. All happening on lap 5 and 6. Like, share and subscribe if you haven't done so already to this SNL action. It is our last race of the season, but we will be back in 2025 for a brand new season of GTE. Season number 10 of that championship. The Super Formulas will be back though. They'll be back in about February, March time. So Lowy, 4th place. Gasman 5th. He's ahead of Ajax now, so that is what he needs. But it's only a 2-point swing for Gasman. Morcherry is ahead of his Lotus teammate now. As we've got 2x2, Ragemus and Bondimus in 9th and 10th. Then it's Daz. And then it is Jam in 12th. With Bailey 13th and Slenderfella on those hard tyres in 14th place. So a bit of pain right now for Slenderfella, but it's the fastest lap of the race for Ben, leading from McLaren here in Brazil. He's looking to do his best David Coulthard impression with that number 2 on that car. Although in the year that this livery was 2001, they had 3 and 4 on the car. Punisher is being pursued by Matt Psycho as they go through turn number 6 and 7 into 8. A slower right-hander. Matt Psycho keeping the pressure on. The Red Bull ahead of him. We saw the race have to restart due to an incident between Ben, Matt Psycho and Bunnies. But Ben had selected reverse gear instead of going forwards. He went backwards into Bunnies, causing an accident. It's Gasman putting the pressure all on Aloe. Let's have a look though. The Punisher's got pressure from Matt Psycho. He's been overtaken by Matt Psycho. Matt Psycho getting past. It looked like it was done way before the turn 1. It was. He's on the overtake and he's got past before they cross the line. And then we've got Aloe under pressure from Gasman. Gasman takes 4th place, but Aloe dives back up the inside and keeps it through the Senna S, through turn 3. The Ferrari putting the pressure on the Renault. The Renault having to defend as they go down the back straight. Oh, a little bit of a touch it looked like between the two cars. Aloy running wide as a result of it. No damage though to Gasman as Ajax is chasing him down. So on board with the McLaren, looking through turn 6. Ooh, a little bit of a jink to the right there by Ajax. He knows that if he stays in this position, he's the champion. Gasman has to get a long way ahead. Gasman has to basically win the race from this position. But Ajax is doing everything he needs to do. In fact, his teammate Ben is securing the championship for McLaren in the team standings. He leads the race, driving very, very well, very cleanly. Matt Psycho on the soft tyres sets the fastest lap at 16.7 for him. And he's pulling away from those around him as they fight each other. Aloy fourth. Gasman is in fifth. He's got Ajax behind him. Bunnies is catching up as well. 17.3 for him. A second quicker than the drivers ahead of him. Ragemus is in eighth. He's got himself ahead of Bondimus now as Daz is 10th. Morcherry has dropped down to 11th. He had a 21.5 on that lap, so a little bit of a mistake it would seem from him has dropped him down to 11th as Jam is 12th. Bailey on his return to SNL action is in 13th place. Slender fella just pushing on those hards to keep them running, but it's Ben and Matt Psycho. Matt Psycho running a bit quicker than Ben, 0.3 on the last lap. As we look through, it could be about half a second this lap. Matt Psycho gains on the driver ahead of him. The Punisher, though, still running very well in third place in the Red Bull. The Canadian having a good end to the season. And again, another strong driver. And yet he's down in 13th place in the championship. It shows you how competitive SNL has been this season. Gasman is fighting with Aloy again. Gasman getting past Aloy through the centre S, but Aloy again manages to get the move done on the exit. And Gasman drops down to 5th place once more. He's got all sorts of problems with this Renault. It will not let him past the champion from Season 8, looking to become the Season 9 champion, but he's having all sorts of issues with a Renault as they go side by side, bumpy, as Ajax now in 6th. Can he get through? Up the inside, oh, a little bit of a nudge. Oh, Aloy then trying to get past on the attack. A little bit of bumping and grinding currently in the middle of this field. 4th, 5th and 6th and 7th, all closely following each other. Ragemus is not far away in 8th either. Daz recovering after his spin in 9th. So let's go back to this Aloy battle. He's got two Canadians. He's got Bunnies in 6th. Bunnies has been running very consistent laps in the past, well, 4 laps. Since lap number 4, he's been in around 0.2 of a second. He's behind Aloy as they go down the main straight. Oh, he's been attacked by Ajax into the turn 1. Ajax gets past Bunnies, but Bunnies holds the line. They're side by side, and Ragemus decides, hold on, I'll have some of this, and I'll try and overtake the championship defender. Oh my word, they're going 3 wide. Nearly into turn 4. Ajax on the outside, Ragemus on the inside. The Williams driver holding 7th against Bunnies. Bunnies then down into 8th place. Whoa, this is tight racing here at SNL. Like and share if you haven't done so already. Subscribe. Why haven't you subscribed? Because this action is frantic here at Interlagos. Round number 5, the final round of Formula X for season number 9. And it's the championship leader, currently in 6th place in this race, who is causing all sorts of tension. His soft tyres are starting to wear away, as are Ragemus's, but as you can see, Bunny's mediums looking superb here in Brazil. Front of the field. Ben has got the attention of Matt Psycho. Going through turn 3 on lap number 12. Matt Psycho is alongside him and he's leading according to the map. Yes, he's gone on the overtake and he takes first place on lap 12 through turn 4. He did it before the turn. And Ben drops to second after a strong start to this race. Matt Psycho then up into first place, fighting well in the Tyrrell. Ben now second. Punisher still third. Fourth, or if we look behind, Ragemus and Bunnies really fighting hard. Bunnies trying to get up the inside of the Williams driver, but then the next corner, Ragemus will have the line. No, he doesn't. There's Ragemus on board with the Williams. Ajax running wide ahead of us as they concertina up to each other through the braking zones of the infield here at Interlagos. Ragemus has to be careful though, because he's got a Renault right behind him. The Renault of Daz is pushing hard, and through the final corners he moves himself up into 8th, so Ragemus went from fighting for 7th to dropping to 9th. As Daz has to defend hard into turn 1, Ragemus will have a look up the inside of the Senna S and he manages to get the position back. It is a very, very tricky place to overtake, but he's done it up into 9th place. So they're all fighting hard. Lowy and Ajax, this is where the bottleneck has happened. So Lowy 5th, Ajax 6th. He's then got Bunnies behind him, on board with Bunnies. Infield section, as I said before, concertinas, everybody seems to get a lot closer to each other. We see Bondimus now under pressure from Morecherry. So they're all fighting hard. You can see how close it is, in fact. Maybe about 3 seconds between these 6 runners. So it's very tight in this infield. At the front though, it's Matt Psycho and Ben who pulled away. Punisher has got a little bit of a space that he's running in on his own. Gazman now 4th, trying to pull away from Aloe. With Ajax, Bunnies, Ragemus, Daz, Bondimus and Morecherry all tightly packed as we see the first stop of the day. It is going to be the Mercedes of Bailey, and in comes Slenderfella too. So Slenderfella in. Matt Psycho though leads the field. He's got a comfortable lead, kind of. It's about a second, which is comfortable in SNL. Ben keeping the pressure on. Then it's a few seconds back to the Punisher. And then it's about 2 seconds back to Gazman. And then it's just the cluster of Aloe, Ajax, Bunnies, Daz, Ragemus, Bondimus and Morecherry. Jam is getting onto the back of this field as well. He did a 17.9 on his last lap. So they're all coming into this group. 19.1 for Daz. As Matt Psycho, the race leader that comes into the pits. So that means Ben leads the field in the McLaren. The Punisher stays out, as does Aloe. Bondimus and Morecherry also are staying out, but Matt Psycho, Gazman, Ajax, Bunnies, Daz, Ragemus and Jam are all in the pits. There is the championship leader, getting new tyres. He'll be going on to the mediums. Then, because he's got softs, mediums and hards, Gazman will have a new set of softs, as Matt Psycho will also have soft tyres for his race. Morecherry all over the back of Bondimus. So they go through turn number 5, 6 and 7 into 8. Morecherry moves up into 4th place as the Lotus driver tries to put some gap into those he was racing earlier, trying to get the advantage. Ben will pit this lap Into the pit lane he comes. Attack, attack, attack. The Punisher, though. Oh, I thought the Punisher wasn't going to stop, but there's such a gap between the two. In comes the Punisher. In will come Aloe then. Morcherry will also pit, as will Bondimus. No, Morcherry does not stop. Morcherry's going for another lap. So the Lotus driver will go 16 laps here at Interlagos on the medium tyres. He's very happy with his pace. He's very happy with his fuel load, although it does look very low. Where is Matt Psycho? He's coming to the end of the lap. As we go to the pit lane, Ben is still refueling, so Matt Psycho will retake the lead virtually in this race because Morcherry is ahead of him. You in fact saw the McLaren on the inside of the corner. Aloe also coming out of the pit lane. Where will Bunnies feed out as everyone starts to come out the pit lane? So Ben is out the pits. Bunnies will get up into 4th place just about as Aloe gets up to speed. And the Punisher is in 6th place. Gasman is in 7th, so Gasman seems to have lost places as a result of these pit stops. Bunny's the biggest winner. Bunny's somehow, well, he's got less fuel in, that's why. He's got a lot less fuel than those he was racing. He hasn't changed tyres either. So he has gained a lot of time. He's gained about 6 or 7 seconds, I would have said, from that pit stop. He moves himself up into 4th place, as now his teammate goes into the pits. No fuel left in Morcherry's Lotus. That is a sure thing. Matt Psycho will retake the lead then. Ben is in 3rd, but it'll become 2nd. Bunnies will become 3rd. Oh, as they're all fighting! What's happened here? So, Aloe was in 5th place as they go through Young Cow. Does he run wide? It looks like he does. He does run wide. Gets onto the grass, and that means the Punisher gets up into 5th, and Gasman is all over the back of the Canadian. So they go through the final corners. A little bit of glitchy happening with Gasman's Ferrari, which doesn't help as you try to race. Not quite sure where he is. Morcherry will empty his fuel. Jam is up into 10th place. He's got Ajax ahead of him. So Ajax on mediums. Morcherry coming out of the pits then. So Ajax will pass him. Jam and Morcherry are very close to each other as Morcherry comes out the pits. Mercedes driver up into 9th place through turn 3. Mercedes though having a bit of a wobble. Morcherry will be attacking. Mercedes through turn 6 and 7 into 8th. Go through the midfield. So let's have a look through the field as it stands. Matt Psycho, new soft tyres and on the overtake too. He's going for a fast lap, definitely on this one. What does he do? He does a 16.4 in his Tyrrell. It is a response from Ben, but it's 5 tenths down for Ben, but he's got more overtake. Bunnies is in 3rd place after this shuffle. Gasman in 4th with the Punisher in 5th in his Red Bull. Aloe is 6th with his teammate Daz in 7th, ahead of the championship fighter Ajax. Jam is in 9th, just running wide actually into turn 1. You won't be happy about that. Cherry Bomb in 10th. Ragemus down to 11th place. And on the hard tyres, so Ragemus has hard right now, as does his teammate Bondimus. Bailey on the mediums, trying to make amends as Slenderfella on softs, and he's set a 17.1 as well. That is not shabby at all. Slenderfella showing that even if you are in last place, you are capable of lapping within 8 tenths of the leader. In fact, 7 tenths of the leader. And that's like a 16.4 in comparison to that 17.1. So that is how competitive the field is here at SNL. You can see the drivers lower down through the sections. Lowy has got Daz, which Daz has then got Ajax, championship leader, currently in 8th. And he's got Daz making a mistake ahead of him. And he jumps on the opportunity going up the hill. What does Daz do? Daz didn't change his tyres. That is a brave move on the softs. But he's going for the move on the outside into turn one. He's ahead of Ajax. Through into the centre S. Can he do anything about it? No. Ajax manages to hold the position, holding that line on the inside. It's so much more powerful to be there than on the outside through that first corner. So Aloe chasing down the Punisher, but really the Punisher pulling away. New soft tyres for the Punisher. He's chasing Gasman, who didn't change his tyres either, it doesn't look like. Or did he? Yes, he did, I think. Because Bunnies on his mediums did not change. Ben did change onto softs, so all of these drivers here have all 3 sets of soft tyres available to them. Bunnies has 3 sets of mediums, but he might decide to do what his brother did at Monza and not change his tyres at all. That would gain him 8 seconds in the pit stops, but losing time obviously on track as the tyres start to get worn out. He's running pretty quickly, around a second of the race leader. And he's pulling away from Gasman. We see Aloe having all the attention of Ajax. Ajax went for the move last time out. What can we do on lap number 20? Aloe all the way on the inside. We can barely see him as we go off board. The camera angle decides it doesn't want us to see anything as Ajax goes round the outside. Nicely done by Ajax, but no! Aloe says, no, I am not yielding. I am staying there. Let's go on board with Aloe, in fact, through this. So we've got Aloe. He's dead on the inside, really close to the wall. Ajax on that outside has to hold that outside line, which is not the quickest way through turn 2. And Aloe says, well, I'm just going to keep myself there. And he uses the curb, stays on the circuit, and puts himself up into 6th place with Ajax in 7th, looking into turn 4. What can the McLaren do? He could get him on the exit as they approach turn 5 towards 6. Ajax is up into 6th place. But he then has the Renault going, no, 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 no. Don't you dare think you've got 6th. Because that place is mine. And I'm bringing my friend along, Daz, to have a go at you too. 2 yellow wasps in the back of the McLaren. They are swarming him, pushing him, tormenting him. And then we've got a jam. Well, you know what wasps like, they love jam. The jam is coming along too. Can he stick onto the back of Ajax, I wonder? It's Matt Psycho leading the race though, setting consistent times. Set a very fast time, 16.4. That was an overtake lap. And he's then back into the 17.1s. 17.2 for Ben. So Ben is setting similar lap times in his McLaren. 17.4 for Bunnies. So Bunnies is on the pace of the leaders on those old mediums. Gasman currently in the 18.9s on his softs. They're starting to wear out very rapidly. In 18.2, in fact, for the Punisher, who's actually gained 7 tenths on the last lap. Punisher 5th place with Ajax in 6th. And there we have Aloe 7th. Daz 8th. Jam is 9th. And 10th is more Cherry. So we've got more food approaching the waspish Renaults. Well, they're having a picnic here at the Sunday Night League. Like, share and subscribe if you have not done so already. Well, we've got Ragimus on the hards, is in contact, in fact, with those ahead. As Jam is looking a bit like he's looking at Daz. Daz running wide a little bit. I think that's the way Daz takes the final corner at Young Cow before this uphill climb to finish the lap. At 21, we're halfway through the race already. It's Matt Psycho leading the field. In fact, he's got a big lead. What is his gap? It seems to be around 7 seconds to Ben. You can see Ben coming through the infield section in the background. He's got about a 6-second lead over Bunnies. So his top 3 are covered by quite a way. Gasman, though, losing time to the Punisher. The Punisher, in his Max Verstappen inspired helmet, is looking good for fourth, putting the champion under pressure. This is the driver, as I said before, he's 13th in the championship and he's putting pressure on the defending champion, currently second. They're both on the same tyres. Gasman's are a lot more worn. Did Gasman not change his tyres at the stop? I'm beginning to think he didn't, judging by the wear. And considering he had soft tyres available to him, was that a mistake from the defending champion? Maybe feeling he had to get the advantage over Ajax. Ajax changed his tyres, put mediums on. He's set his best lap of an 18.001 last time round. It looks like he's improving this time, 17.6 for him and an 18.6 for Gasman. So Ajax is a second a lap quicker than his championship rival. And we have got a big battle. Jam is up ahead of Daz now. So we saw that brewing. Jam up to 8th now. He's in between Aloe. So we've got a jam sandwich currently with Renault bread. Oh, we've got the wasps swarming around the jam. Your choice. Jam's halo. Halo. Oh, it's angel-like. His airbox is red. That shows that he's less than 25% of his overtake at the very early stage as well. We're just halfway through the race. Whilst if you look at Aloe, his is green. So he has 25% or more. Matt Psycho in the chat saying, I had a jam sandwich for lunch. Ooh, nice. A bit old for jam sandwiches. Might keep him young. Aloe then under pressure then from Jam. The Renault will defend that inside. We've seen him do it already whilst fighting Gasman. They go through turn 1. They're side by side into turn 1. It doesn't mean anything if Aloe is slightly behind because he's got that inside line. You see Jam has to back off in turn 2. Psycho saying he's never too old for a jam sandwich. In the background we can see more cherry. Looking to Daz and saying, do you want some more cherry? Daz is saying, no, I want to be away from you. Jam putting the pressure on Daz as we go through turn 6. Keeping that Mercedes close to the back of the Renault. The Renault running wide. Does that mean Jam can get a move done through this infield? It's very tricky to do. Jam positioning his car. Looking aggressive in the mirrors, but Aloe holds the position. They go towards Young Cow. Aloe nearly losing it onto the curb as Jam goes up the inside nearly. No, had to think about it, but then backed it off. As they go back up the hill once more. Aloe on the overtake with Jam in his slipstream. So Aloe holding that inside line once more, pushing as hard as he can. Jam tucked up behind, but he knows. Can he get the move done into the centre S? Once more, nothing happening for Jam as he pushes behind Aloe. He can't get past. He's got very little overtake as well left, although he was on it. They're pushing hard. Those soft tyres of Aloe. Aloe runs wide. That might be Jam's opportunity through the exit, and Jam moves up into 7th place. The car number 7 is up into 7th, as in the background we can see Daz under pressure from More Cherry. The two Renaults are under siege here at Interlagos. Like, share and subscribe if you haven't done so already. I mean, what can we do more for you to put that like button and hit it hard? Well, don't hit it hard, don't break the screen or your computer, but look at the action. We've got More Cherry and we've got Ragemus catching them up on this lap as they fight. The Renaults are fighting with everybody right now. And we've got a great battle. 11th is, well, Ragemus, Willie Pitt. That's like I say, in a free jam sandwich maybe. But for liking the button, liking the video. I mean, I can post it to you, but it would take about a week now to come to you. You could do that. I mean, if you're an international viewer as well, that's going to be quarantine issue, I suspect. Anyway, Ben is second place. Matt Psycho leading the race. Ben in second. Bunnies is catching an 18-0. Matt Psycho in the chat saying like, subscribe, and get a jam sandwich. I have to put that down. 2025 idea. Like, share, get a jam sandwich. The Punisher. Matt Psycho saying need to subscribe. Are you not a subscriber, Matt Psycho? Really need to like, share, and subscribe. But the Punisher up into 4th place. Brilliantly done right now in that Red Bull. He's ahead of Gasman. That puts Gasman then back into the pressure zone of his championship rival. A 120.3 for Gasman on the last lap and 19.7 for Ajax. So these drivers are close to each other. It's in the background, you see Jam going through turn 1. That Psycho leads the race, coming to the second bout of pit stops. In fact, he's just lapped Bailey. As Ragemus into the pits then, the hard tyres are going away for him. The pain is over. He can then get himself back onto the softs. Bondamus is on his hards. He's going another lap longer to his teammate. Slenderfella already did those, so he is happily there in 11th on the soft tyres now until the end of the race as Cherry Bomb, more Cherry, has a bit of a slide. Daz in 9th place. Those tyres looking very worn at the end of this stint. Did he double stack them? Yes, he did. So these tyres are done. The lowies are looking a lot fresher, but they're lapping slower than those on mediums now. As up ahead, Ajax and Gasman are having a fight through the Senna S. The two championship rivals fighting side by side through the legendary corner of the Senna S. Gasman in the Ferrari, Ajax in the McLaren. 2023 versus 2001 in terms of liveries, and Gasman just holding it as they go side by side. Ajax having to say, no, I'll have to give that up. I can't go through there at that speed. So they're fighting hard here. You'd think it was whoever finished in front of each other would win the title, but really Ajax doesn't have to finish ahead of Gasman. But you know what? He wants to do this in style. He wants to beat his championship rival, but no doubt in anybody's mind who the champion is of Season 9. The Season 8 champion, though, fighting hard, saying, no, you're not taking it away from me that easily. As into the pits comes Matt Psycho. Soft tyres will go on. Bunnies will also come into the pits. Only 1% fuel for Bunnies. Will the Punisher keep going round? I suspect he will. Yes, he does. Into the pits comes Bunnies. New tyres then for the Canadian. Ajax in as well. So is Jam. Aloe in. Morcherry will not pit though. Morcherry will move up the field. He'll move up into 4th place, I think. Although Matt Psycho coming out of the pit, so Matt Psycho will in fact be ahead of Morcherry. Morcherry in 5th place. Matt Psycho comes out the pits in 4th place. Gasman. Matt Psycho saying he's pitting for tyres and a jam sandwich. You know, mid-race snacks. It's good to keep hydrated. Keep your nutrition up during the race. But Ben, on the overtake, he's attacking. He knows there was a gap of about 8 seconds between him and Matt Psycho. He's coming into the pits. No, he's not. He's going another lap. Well, absolutely brilliant. Fuel saving done to a T for Ben. He leads the race and he will go another lap. I think the Punisher also will go another lap. He climbs the hill. No pit stop for them. Gasman will pit though this lap. He's got no fuel left. So In comes the Ferrari. Matt Psycho will stay in third place on the track, but the virtual lead is his, you would think, unless Ben does something spectacular. Morcherry keeps going. Morcherry's a long way away from a pit stop as well. He's having a great race in terms of fuel saving. Bunnies will climb into fifth place now. As Bondamus keeps going too, so a few drivers are brilliantly fuel saving at this race. Ajax in 8th place. New tyres? No, didn't change tyres. He moves up into 7th place. Gazman comes out of the pits. Gazman coming out of the pits. Will he come out safely ahead of Jam? It looks like he will. It's Jam in 9th, Aloe 10th, Ragemus 11th. Ben is in the pits. So Ben pitting, the Punisher coming out of Young Cow. No fuel left in his Red Bull. As he pits, he'll have 12 laps to go then at the end of the race. There is Ben. New soft tyres for him in that McLaren. Matt Psycho retakes the lead in the Tyrrell. 12 laps to go then here at Interlagos. It's Matt Psycho from Ben. That's Morcherry and the Punisher also pit. The Punisher in the pits in the Renault. Yes, in the Red Bull. Getting new tyres. Bunnies will move himself up into third place. He will not get second. In fact, you can see Ben coming up the pits now. What's the gap between the pair at the front? Oh, it's about 10-12 seconds maybe. Bunnies overtaking Bailey. It's the Punisher coming out of the pits. Will he come out ahead of Ajax? No, he won't. Will he come out ahead of Gazman? They come down the straight. Yes, he does. So the Punisher in 5th on the medium tyres. So he feeds back into 5th place. He actually creates a gap between Ajax and Gazman. Gazman on the soft tyres. Jam in 7th place in the Mercedes. Morcherry is 8th. As Aloe has got Ragemus now. Aloe is on the medium tyres. Ragemus on the softs. The advantage is with this Williams. He's gone through the pain of the hards. He's now pushing hard. Will he have a go in this infield section? It's very hard, as I said before, to overtake, but he might get a run into Young Cow. They're both on red in terms of their overtake, but Aloe has a little bit more. Up the hill then through Young Cow. And Ragemus is in a perfect position to get the slipstream off Aloe, but we've seen Aloe defend incredibly well down this home straight, holding the wall on the inside. There he goes again, holding the wall, forcing Ragemus around the outside. Ragemus will go ahead into turn 1, and Aloe will then get the run. No, he doesn't. Ragemus perfectly executing it. Oh, as then Aloe bumps himself again. So it's a bit like Ajax. So let's have a look at this. This is absolutely the same as when they went side by side, he and Ajax. Ragemus, oh, just a little bit of a gap, and Aloe up the inside. He's saying, you cannot leave a gap for me there. I will put my car there, but Ragemus goes round the outside. What a move from the Williams driver. Absolutely fantastic. From the Williams up into 9th place, outbraking Aloe. Around the outside of that corner. You don't often see that. Absolutely brilliant from the Williams. Let's go to the front of the field then, where we can see Matt Psycho. He's set a 15.9 on the previous lap. He's saying, I am going to show a clean pair of heels to everybody else. He's got no overtake left either. That was absolute fastest lap, stamping your authority, an 18.3 in response. So over 2.5 seconds No, 2 and a bit, 2.4 seconds between Matt Psycho and Ben. Bunnies is about 20 seconds actually behind Ben, so big gap between the top 3 in this race. About 30 odd seconds between Matt Psycho and Bunnies, so very, very close. 6 seconds between Bunnies and Ajax, and then it's a lot tighter between the 2 championship rivals, about a second between them. Punisher just starting to fall back slightly, a couple of seconds now, the gap between him and Gazman. Jam is chasing him down. Cherry is in 8th with Regimus right behind. The sun coming out here in Brazil, shining on us once more in SNL. This final round of the season, final round of 2024, can you believe it? As well, like, share and subscribe if you haven't done so. Watch the other videos as well in the championship. We've had 9 seasons of Formula X. Have a look, watch those back. Maybe go back and watch us when we were in the Red Bull cars as well. Those were crazy times. We've been in the Super Formulas though for a very long time now in terms of seasons. They're a lot easier, a lot more accessible than those extreme monsters from the first 3 seasons. A lot of fun, but maybe not as raceable as these Super Formula cars. In fact, these versions of the Super Formula car are proving very, very raceable here in SNL. As I said before, GTE will be back in January at that championship. Well, it goes down to the wire most seasons, although last season it was very much Matt Psycho's dominating the field in that to take his 2nd championship. Oh, that's Bailey just going a little bit slower. On board with Gazman then. Likely to be his final race with the number 1 on the car. For a little bit of time. Just set his best lap of the race as he fights with his championship rival. Oh, Ajax is under pressure from Gazman then. Gazman around the outside of turn 3. Oh, wow, they are close to each other. Gazman up the inside for turn 4. He's got the line. Can he make the move? Can he brake as late as he dare to take the position? Yes, he can. They're side by side still, though, going towards turn number 6. But it's Gazman up into 4th place ahead of Ajax. They're fighting hard. In fact, Gazman running away on those soft tyres, deciding, right, this is it. I'm going away from you now. We've played around a bit. I know I can't win the championship if it finishes like this, but I'm going to finish on the road ahead of you. He's got no overtake left, really, compared to Ajax, though. 18.6 for the Punisher. He's falling back only slightly from those he's chasing. Jam chasing him. 16.9 actually for Jam on lap 33. Considering he has no overtake as well. All of these drivers getting close together. Oh no, that's Bailey behind. It's Bailey in the other Mercedes. I thought it was Cherry. Cherry just a little bit behind this fight. Punisher just weaving a little bit on the line just to disturb some of the air for Jam. The Red Bull is... Oh! That was weird. He went through the camera. Red Bull then on the medium tyres, whilst Jam is on the softs. Jam getting a good drive actually out of turn 4. Through 5 and then into 6. So fighting between these two. Let's go and have a look. The front of the field, that Psycho still in the 16.3s compared to the 17.1s of Ben. 17.1s as well for Bunnies. Gazman is running pretty well now that he has overtaken Ajax. Punisher. And More Cherry is there for company as well. So Jam and the Punisher. Jam's light, I think, went out on the overtake. It did. Jam looking into turn 1. So they go side by side into the turn. And does it. But More Cherry straight away. In fact, we might go on board with More Cherry, see what we can see ahead. We can't really because of the light. We can see the two. Plus, they got very close to each other into turn 1, in fact. And a good exit from More Cherry. On the power, accelerating hard. Will he get past the Punisher? Will the Punisher lose 2 places in quick succession? Yes, he does. Punisher down to 8th place. More Cherry up into 7th place and is pursuing Jam. The battle for 6th place raging on. As Ajax is 5th and Gasman 4th. Talking of raging on, where is Ragemus? He's got Slender Fella in his sights. Not quite. He's falling back a little bit, actually. 20.8, actually, 2 laps ago for Ragemus. So he's lost positions to Slender Fella. Slender Fella is in those 17s as he overtakes Bailey. Ragemus in 10th. Aloe 11th. These 2 Renaults dropping down the field. We saw them very high up. In fact, Daz was leading this race early on after his pole position. He's down in 12th now. But that more to do with the tyres, I suspect. And a few little mistakes. Bondimus in 13th place. Thank you everyone that's watching us live here on YouTube. Like, share and subscribe if you haven't done so already. We are here at the Sunday Night League for round number 5, the final round of 2024. Before the Christmas break. We will be back in the new year though with GTE season number 10. Absolutely fantastic for that. 4 laps to go then for Matt Psycho. In the lead in the Tyrrell. What is the gap between him and Ben? It's huge. In fact, the gap between him and Ben. Let's have a look. Ben going towards the line now. The gap is about 19 seconds. That's huge. I've not seen anybody really do that this season in Formula X. Bunnies is a long way back as well compared to Ben. So what's the gap between him and Ben? It's about 15 seconds. So, and the gap between Bunnies and Gasman is about 8 seconds. So it then starts closing up because we've got Ajax there in 5th. With Jam in 6th. Jam pulling... No, not pulling away from More Cherry. More Cherry is keeping the pressure on the Mercedes driver on board with the Lotus. Currently in 6th place in the championship. He's looking for 6th place on the road. Oh, nice little SNL helmet as well on top. The Senna tribute helmet. That's a lovely touch then. Thank you. Punisher is in 8th place. But this seems to be the battle at the end of the race. We've got Jam and More Cherry. More Cherry has more fuel than Jam. Jam just under a quarter. Ajax just a quarter. Gasman just a quarter as well. Bunny's under a quarter. Ben pushing hard. Psycho leading the field by about 20 seconds. Looking for his 2nd victory of the season. Missed round number 1, but you can win the championship by missing a round in Formula X, although it's harder with the 5-round season. Expect season 10 will be 6 rounds depending on the calendar. Questions. Some people said, oh, why is this a 5-round championship? It's because it's Mrs. Jam's birthday next Sunday. I can't really race on Mrs. Jam's birthday, can I? Get in trouble. 17.2 for Jam, 17.4 for Morecherry. The Lotus dropping back ever so slightly, not too much though. Punisher setting his best time, 17.7 on the medium tyres, so he's been brought along. Those mediums are a good race tyre as well. Medium tyres very powerful this season, we've seen. Two Red Bulls in the top 10 as well. Great race for them in the final round. They're looking for their best finishes. Bondamus currently 12th, then ahead of Daz. He's just overtaken Daz, in fact, on the previous laps. Bailey in 14th. Matt Psycho, though, coming out of Young Cow for the penultimate time. He's got one more lap then as he crosses the line up the top of the hill. In the Tyrrell. He's just lapped Bondamus, in fact. And the final lap count begins. Ben currently second, with Bunnies third. Gasman fourth. Ajax. Wonder if he's starting to think about the championship now. That final run. As we see in the background, we've got Jam. Jam has no fuel left. Not again. We've seen already this season the Mercedes driver has nearly ran out of fuel. In fact, he did run out of fuel at Yamagawa. Can he do anything as Morecherry goes up the inside? And Morecherry up the inside. And Jam. Well, Jam's just got to try and finish this race as it stands. Looking at that fuel. Be happy though, more competitive than he maybe was at Watkins Glen despite being on the front row. But it's Matt Psycho coming out of the final corner. And Lowy letting him past. A little bit close, possibly. But Matt Psycho will take the victory here at Interlagos. Celebrating with Lowy behind him. There he goes. The winner of round number 5. Ben coming out of the final corner on the overtake as well. Pushing hard as he tries to get the fastest lap on the last lap. That would take the thunder away from Matt Psycho, possibly. It's not going to happen. He does set his fastest lap, but a brilliant second place for Ben. Very consistent, driving incredibly well here at Interlagos. Bunnies will finish in third place in the Lotus. Fourth place is the outgoing champion Gasman in the Ferrari. In the end, the consistency was there still, but it was no answer to Ajax, who crosses the line to finish in fifth. Lag as he goes across to take the championship. Morecherry takes 6th place in his Lotus. 7th is Jam with no fuel left. The Punisher finishes ahead of Slenderfella, only just. And then Ragemus finishes in 10th in his Williams. Very, very close racing throughout. You can see, based on the maps, Aloe finished in 11th place in his Renault, ahead of Bondamus in 12th and Daz in 13th. Those three very close to each other in the end. Bailey finished in 14th place for Mercedes. But it was Matt Psycho. There he is. The winner of Interlagos. Fantastically driven to win by over 20 seconds in the race in the end. Second place was Ben in the McLaren. A brilliant debut podium for him, or first podium, should I say, for Ben in the McLaren, topping off a very impressive season in his debut season. Third place is Bunnies, the two-time champion, finishing off with a podium in the Lotus. In fourth place, the defending champion, Gasman, the final race with the number 1 on that Ferrari. But he'll give it to Ajax, who finishes in 5th place in the McLaren. 6th place was Morecherry in the Team Lotus as well. They look very strong, those two Team Lotus cars. Again, 2 cars in the top 6. What does that mean for the team championship? Jam in 7th place, showing more speed once again. The Punisher, fantastic race for him. 8th place in the end. Feels like it should deserve more with the way that he drove. In 9th place was Slenderfella in his Red Bull. 10th was Ragemus in his Williams. 11th, Aloe. 12th, Bondamus. 13th was Daz. And 14th was Bailey. And in terms of the championship, well, we know the winner of the championship as it stands, and with very little in the way of things. Ajax has become the Season 9 champion in the McLaren. Congratulations to him. He won the championship. He's got 117 points. That is 14 more points than Gazman, who finishes in second in his title defence. So no qualms there with his second place. In third place in the provisional standings is Bunnies in the Team Lotus car with 85 points. In fourth place provisionally is Ragemus in the Williams. A great second season for him. He'll be building on that, I'm sure, in the future. In fifth place was the race winner this evening, Matt Psycho in the Tyrrell, winning 2 races. He finishes in fifth place with 74 points. In sixth place was Yax in the Mercedes, a debut season, top debutant this season. Ben provisionally finishes in sixth place in the standings. Seventh place, with 61 points. Just ahead of Morcherry, who finishes in seventh for Team Lotus with 60 points. Eighth place, Team Lotus. Ninth place was Aloe in the Renault. So he finishes in ninth with 46 points. 10th place was Slenderfella in his Red Bull with 46. 11th was Jam. First season outside the top 10 for Jam in Formula X. In 12th place was Leonardo, who was unable to join us this evening. 13th place was the Punisher, who finished 8th this evening. 14th place was Bondamus Prime. Another driver you didn't expect, actually, a higher position, but that's how competitive SNL really is. Mr. Smith finished in 15th place. Daz finished in 16th place after 2 rounds. He finished 9 points. In 17th was Specmere, a reserve. 18th was Bailey with 3 points. And in Tulu on 2. And Kaiser Grimm, unfortunately, on 1 point. Hopefully we see Kaiser back in the grid. But it is Gazman who relinquishes the number 1 to Ajax. And it's Ajax Team McLaren that win the team championship as well. They have 178 points. They were clear of Team Lotus, who jumped Ferrari in the final round with 174.5, with Ferrari on 137 in third. Fourth place was Mercedes on 112, with Williams 106. Jumping into sixth place was Tyrrell with 89, finishing 10 points ahead of Red Bull in the end. And finally, in 8th place was Renault. Thank you, everyone that's joined us this season. Thank you all for tuning in. Join us again next season for GTE Season 10 in the new year. Join us for Season 10 of Formula X in about February time next year as well. Enjoy the Christmas break. Enjoy the new year. Stay safe. And like, share and subscribe if you haven't done so already. I don't know why you haven't, because SNL in 2024 has been awesome.